Blender has 4 types of light. So when we select the default light that the scene gives us in our Blender viewport, when we click on this light, which is the point light, when we go to the object data properties, we have these 4 types of light here: point, sun, spot, area light. For us to see how this light affects our scene, you simply press this render preview, or you can also press Z, and then select it, or move your mouse up to select the rendered view. Okay, this render view affects, the light affects the type of render engine affects how your light is being generated or interact with the scene. So for the sake of this, I'm going to use Cycles. I like Cycles a lot than Eevee. So let's select Shift A, then add our plane, just to see how this light affects our scene. Good. So this is the point light. The point light, when we go to the object data properties for this light, we can change the color of the light. We can increase the power. We can soften shadow by unchecking it. So we can also move. So let's select Shift X, selection to cursor, GZ, just so we see how it's being shown directly on our mesh. So this creates shadows here, and as we can see, the cube's shadow is being shown on this plane. Okay, however, we can soften this shadow by clicking on this soften fallout, and then also increase the radius. When we increase the radius, we can soften the shadow a little bit. So as you can see, the shadow of this cube on our plane has been softened, or is slightly shown. It's not vividly shown as first as we saw. So this is the point light, and there is a little more. Let's look at the 3 types of light. We have the sunlight. The sunlight lights the overall scene, and it is the strength is very high. So we can also reduce this strength by reducing the strength here. We can also change the angle of this sunlight by, maybe let's do this 360. We can change the angle of the sunlight, the direction of the sunlight. We can also decide to uncheck cast shadows and so on. The spotlight as the name goes, spot, it lights the spot of your scene. So let's press Alt R to make this centered on our scene. So this is how the spotlight works. We can also reduce the softness of the spots by reducing the radius or increasing it. So when we decrease the radius, it creates a very hard spot. It creates a very hard spot on our scene. And when we increase the radius, it creates a very soft spot on our scene. So this is how the spotlight works. We can also decrease the power or reduce the power based on our preference. So this is the spotlight. So the soft shadow can be, when we want hard shadow, we decrease the radius. When we want soft shadows, we increase the radius of our spotlight. And there's the area light. This area light has different shapes that come. So just like the default point, just like for all the sun, spot, and point light, the area light also has the color that we can change. It also has the power that we can also change. However, it comes along with the shape of the area light. So by default, this area light comes with the rectangular shape. You can decide to change it with the square shape. You can decide to use the disc shape, or you can decide to use the ellipse shapes. And this shape